I've got both an olive and an onion. And if it was just an onion in my vodka martini, it would be a Gibson. Hi, I'm Mark Alyn, and welcome to Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. During the next half hour or so, we're going to have some fun with a new friend. His name is Ken Atchity. He's got a book. It's called My Obit, Daddy Holding Me. A new book is coming out, and I have a feeling the book is going to be My Obit, Mommy Holding Me. I could be wrong. We'll find out. This is Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner, and we're going to be talking with Ken, who I have determined is the hottest guy in Hollywood. I'll tell you why when we come back. Don't go away. Well, this is really the beginning of summer. Here in Southern California, it was in the mid to high 80s today. Where I live, it didn't get up till maybe 80 degrees or so, and that's in Ventura County. But we're going to chili today. As the summer begins, we're going to be making chili. It's obvious, right? Okay, let's bring our guest in, the author of My Obit, Daddy Holding Me, Ken Atchity. Ken, and let's bring him in. There you go. And now we can talk. Okay. Ken, let's begin our show. You have a martini with kumquats.
I do, yeah.
So let's do Skol. Oh, what's a Cajun or a Lebanese toast? Either one.
Pardon me?
A Lebanese or a Cajun toast.
Oh, let's say the bon temps brulee.
Well, you said it.
Let the good times roll.
Let the good times roll. Perfect.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, we're going to make chili. And I said you're the hottest guy in Hollywood because this recipe of yours is spicy. It's hot. And if you don't like spicy, by the way, and you're watching, you can tone it down. I've toned it down for two reasons. One, Carol likes it a little less spicy than I do, and she is the boss. And she laughed. And the second reason is it's just the two of us going to eat this. So we've cut the recipe in half. Tomorrow we'll have Ken's recipe up on YouTube, and you'll be able to check it out. Ken, have you always been a foodie?
Oh, my family probably invented the word. I'm half Cajun and half Lebanese, and we spend most of our lives in the kitchen. So, yes.
You told me the other day that your breakfast, and I'm going to pronounce it as lamajun because that's what I learned it was, which is an Armenian-style pizza. And I guess they eat those in Lebanon as well. And that's your breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. That with a little yogurt and some sliced cucumbers or tomatoes. That's it.
A couple of olives thrown in, maybe?
Black olives, yeah, for sure.
Oh, boy. All right, we're going to start cooking because we've got a lot to do, but we want to talk about My Obit, Daddy Holding Me. Let's go over here to our cooking area. I'm going to add some olive oil, and I'm going to turn on the heat. Now, the recipe that you'll see on YouTube is a little bit different than what we're going to be doing today. And the reason for that is because of time. What I've done is I've pre-cooked the meat, at least partially, okay? So I'm going to let that heat up. I've got garlic, shallots, jalapeno, and onion to throw in there, Ken. You just tell me when. That's your job.
You can throw it in now if you've already pre-cooked the meat. So you throw it in now and clarify it.
Got it. I'm going to start with the onion. I've got this is, you can see, it's a very large, this was one onion, Ken. It was huge.
Okay.
It was an organic onion, huge. By the way, there are many recipes in my Obit, Daddy Holding Me. And this one is on page 204. And so I'm going to put the onion in first.
That's the right sound.
Isn't that great? You know what's better than the sound? The smell.
Yeah, I put the garlic and shallots all in at the same time with the onions.
All right.
So you can go ahead and do that.
I added 3 cloves of garlic, and this is 1 large shallot. What about the jalapeno? Now I've sliced that up. Here you can see.
No, I put that in later.
Okay.
Because all these need to be clarified, and as you're saying, you're using about a half or a third of the amount of garlic I would use, but that's a matter of taste, and I totally get that. Not everybody wants things to be garlicky.
I love garlic. There's never too much garlic for me. But, whoa. I also like cooking. This is a 30-year-old wooden spoon, and I just love the tactile feel.
Great. That's what I use, is a wooden spoon, and I don't care how old it is, but the older the better.
Well, it's funny. I bought some new ones a couple of months ago, and Carol made me send them back. She said, "You got these old ones. They're better." So.
That's funny. Yeah, the old ones are great. I bought these beautiful wooden spoons from Ralph's that have this swirls of color in them.
Right.
And my wife wouldn't let me use them because she said they look too nice. I go, well, so what?
Your wife teaches yoga. Am I correct?
Yeah. Well, she doesn't teach yoga. She runs an organization called Yoga Gives Back that gives back to the women and children and girls of India for the gift of yoga.
Wow. Well, that's a worthwhile thing. Our consulting producer, Tom Martin, who is a producer in real life, he worked at CNN, he's worked at the Food Network and other places. He went to Georgetown, where I believe your wife was. And I have to mention, one of the pages of the book fell out. Carol, can you come to me a second? This is the page about Occidental College. It's a little out of focus, I'm sorry. Our daughter went to school and majored in English at Oxy. She also met her husband, future husband, within 4 minutes of putting her feet on that campus.
Is it really? Wow.
Yes. Okay.
So she either got lucky or unlucky.
No, she got very lucky. He's an attorney now. All right, what do we do next?
Well, if you have the meat already made, I would put the meat in next and let them all cook together. The longer they cook together, the better.
Right. Now, in the recipe, Ken tells you to cook it today, let it sit for like overnight in the refrigerator. We are going to have this for dinner tonight.
Okay, so that's good. Mix it all up and then let it, I would bring it to a boil first and then turn it down to simmer.
Okay.
And I would start putting in my seasonings.
All right. I've got cayenne.
I mean, every seasoning but jalapeno.
Okay. I've got, I'm going to put in cayenne. I'm going to do like a teaspoon and a half. I've got cumin to put in, and
Good.
I think and we'll do 2 of those because that's the recipe calls for 4.
So you made 2 pounds of meat?
Yes, we have just under 2 pounds of meat. Ooh, I almost forgot to put the chili in.
Yeah. Well, that's important. The chili
Yes.
powder.
Yes. And by the way, all of our ingredients, I'm going to put 3 of these in. Whoop, that was it. All of our seasonings and our meat today are organic. So I eat for taste. I try to eat healthy, but the fact is that I personally eat for taste. I have salt and pepper and paprika to put in too.
Yeah, I sometimes replace salt with celery salt, but paprika and pepper are essential.
So I've got that pre-measured out.
My mother faked her way through the first 20 years of her marriage just with pepper and nothing else.
Oh my.
And that was the distinctive flavor in everything she made, including chili. And I love pepper. Can't get enough pepper.
I love pepper too. I've got red pepper flakes to put in.
Yep.
So I'm going to put in.
Yeah, that's going to make it nice and spicy.
Oh, yes. As I said, you are the hottest guy in Hollywood. You have a new movie. It was just in the trades. You're an executive producer of a new film. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, it's called Gambino the Rise, based on James Spear's novel called Gambino the Rise. And it's about the birth and adolescent and young years of Carlo Gambino as he ran away, escaped to the United States from Sicily, and ended up fighting his way to the top of the mafia.
I've got black beans to put in. Now, in competition chili, they don't use beans. Oh, Denise Anderson is watching, and she said pepper is Mike's favorite seasoning. Now, there's something I didn't know. Wow.
Who's Mike?
I guess he's with Denise.
All right. Okay, Mike.
Yeah. Mike Anderson. Okay. Howard Sandler says he would use 5 different chilies, 3 each, 2 cans of tomato sauce and chili mix, meat and kidney beans. So.
Yeah, I don't use mixes because I create my own, but some chili mixes are really good.
Yeah, I usually stay away from those like you and try to do things from scratch. I have beans. Should I put the beans in?
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about beans for a minute because kidney beans are traditional with chili.
Right.
It's true. But I like black beans because, first of all, they're smaller, and I think that's nice. And I like the taste of them better than kidney beans. And I just think they're a little healthier than kidney beans, but that's just me. So I've always used, black beans. And so I guess you'll use 2 cans because probably I put 4 cans in the recipe.
I'm only using 1 because beans sometimes affect me.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, that's another taste thing. You have to personalize your chili, customize it, but 1 is good. Some people don't put any meat in chili, so.
Right. So we're going to mix this all up. I have a story.
Yeah.
I have a story about Contadina tomato sauce, which is what we're going to put in next. I've always bought.
Yeah, people.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say some people don't put tomato sauce in chili, but I like it to be a little bit redder. And so I do put sauce in it, as my aunt did. This is all a recipe that goes back to my Lebanese great aunt named Najeba, who made the best chili in the family until she passed it off to my sister Andrea, who carried on the tradition and then taught it to me.
So this is Auntie Najeba's chili.
Yeah, that's what it says in the book, because
Yes.
she's the one in the family who kind of taught us to us.
All right. So I've got tomato sauce and paprika. How much paprika for this? About 2.
Well, in this half of recipe you're doing, I would put maybe 2 tablespoons.
Okay. We're
Yeah, I agree with Denise that black beans are the most nutrient dense beans. That's why I like them. That's why they're so flavorful, I think. And you don't want to concentrate on the beans when you eat chili. You want to concentrate on the overall taste. And black beans aren't as obtrusive as kidney beans.
They're also, these are Goya, by the way, your recommended brand, and they're organic.
Yeah, Goya.
And they're
Goya's
organic.
good. I always put the juice from the can. I put it into the chili. I don't waste it by.
I
putting it
rinsed
down
them
the-
off. I always do. I don't know why. My mother used to, and maybe that's why I do.
Why? When you think about that, why do you do that? It's like these things have been sitting in that juice since they were born,
That's
and to drain the juice means to lose some of the greatness of it. But that's just me. I don't know, Denise. What do you think?
you're probably right, and I should have. I next time I make this, it smells so good, everybody. I have 2 more things
Yeah.
to add. I've got the tomato sauce. I have water, actually 3 things, and Tabasco. Now, growing up in Louisiana, did you ever get out to the island where they make Tabasco?
Well, they make it in New Iberia, which is not exactly an island. But yeah, I've been there to the Tabasco place. But you know, you can use all kinds of things to spice it up. We just happen to use Tabasco in my family.
Got it. LinkedIn user is saying, excellent. He can almost smell it. Well, thank you, LinkedIn. We appreciate that. I'm going to put it in the
And
tomato.
also, did you put the cumin in yet?
The
I didn't
which?
see that. The cumin.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to put the tomato sauce in.
Another thing you could put in there is dill seed. You know, if you have the seed.
I don't have
Because
dill
I think-
seed.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. That would actually give it a touch of sweet. Now, when I was reading the recipe, I've got to tell you, Ken sent me the recipe, and I didn't get it. So I asked him to resend it. And I don't know why I didn't get it. And I don't know why I didn't look in the book for the recipe, which is what I should have done. My Obit, my daddy holding me. And so it said red pepper. Ken, I chopped up a red... Oh, bring up the book. This is a perfect place. I chopped up a red bell pepper because I thought that's what you meant, but we're not going to put that in. It won't work. Here's the book right there. And by the way, the book is available on Amazon and any place you find you buy books. It's a great book. I'm reading it in steps.
Okay, so did you put in the broth?
The
Or
broth.
the water?
I've got water to go.
Yeah,
And
water
I'm
to go.
gonna-
Okay, because I either put beef broth in or a cup or so of water.
All right.
Either one.
I'm going to put in just under that. Carol, can you get me some bouillon? Better than bouillon? We can add that to it. It's in the refrigerator. I'm sorry. If we have it.
That's looking exactly right. So you're definitely on track of something there.
I got to tell you, Ken, the smells so good.
Yeah.
And you told me that sometimes you put corn in.
What?
That sometimes you put corn in.
Sometimes I put corn, like a Mexican corn especially, makes a nice, it cuts the spiciness a little bit, which is nice, but it's not part of our traditional recipe.
Got it.
But
Do we have a
I put
beef
it
one?
in
This
one.
is chicken. I'm sorry. Oh,
What?
yeah. Let me have that. I'll swap. We're very informal, as you can probably see, Ken. So, Ken, I have some prepared demi-glaze instead of the beef broth.
What is that exactly?
It's a reduction of beef marrow and bones.
Oh, okay.
And
But you should have mixed that in water and so I would add, a cup of water, a full cup of water.
right, I've added almost a cup, and now I've added a full cup. Does the Tabasco go in? Oh, yes,
Well, you
Jennifer
might wanna-
Abernathy is saying from Virginia, she wishes she had smell-o-vision. I got to tell you, Jennifer, I want to eat. I want to stop. This is really phenomenal. This is one of,
Yeah,
I started
that's the
to,
next.
yeah, go ahead. I started
That's
to
the
ask
next
you
step.
earlier. I've got to ask this question. This is not the healthiest thing in the world. Okay?
Oh my
Do
God.
you watch what you eat? Or do you eat for taste like I said I do?
I didn't realize this was a medical show.
That's the late night health show that I do. But, I mean, do you watch what you eat? I mean, or not?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I just, on a day where I eat chili, I don't eat much else.
Got it. I hate to tell you, I ate 2 slices of pizza all day, 2 small slices of pizza, and now I'm having chili. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't eat pizza on a chilly day, but that's just me.
No, normally I wouldn't either. I had turkey breast, but the pizza was a must go. I was directed to eat that.
Okay.
Right? So we let this simmer and boil, and Tom Martin says B. Okay, our producer. I'm looking at our comments here. Listen, if you are watching and you have somebody that you would like to cook with me, or you want to cook with me, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Next week, we're doing lamb chops. Lamb chops for Father's Day. I've never had lamb chops for Father's Day, but I thought, it'll be different. And Chef Kendra will be back with us next week from Prairie Street Prime. Tom Martin says, bringing more pleasure to life through a dish like this prolongs our years and just our joy. That sounds like a yoga saying, doesn't it? Okay. Well, ooh, I got to tell you, everybody, this looks, can you hear that?
So did you put salt in it?
I did. I put salt and pepper. I think I'm going to add more pepper to it. I have not added the Tabasco.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So you might want to take a little, put a couple of spoons in a little bowl and try it right now to see how the seasoning is. Then you can adjust accordingly.
Okay.
I do
Now,
that all through the process.
one of the things that we did, and I mentioned this quite a bit on the show, is that when we first started the show, I forgot about the concept of hot and cold. And in forgetting about the concept of hot and cold, I ended up doing the, oh my God, I burnt my mouth dance. live on TV. So I let it cool a moment, Ken. And by the
Yeah.
way, my mouth is burning dance is related to the chicken dance that we used to do at weddings, bar mitzvahs, and things like that. Okay, Carol, I'm gonna taste this now. This is a very easy recipe.
It is. It takes me about 3 hours to make it all together.
Well, it's got a nice bite afterwards. This is terrific. And
Good.
it's a combination of beef and pork in there. Oh my, excuse me, Ken. Ken and I are both having martinis. This is a perfect dish for the martini. Jennifer wants to know, what are 2 or 3 essential items you keep in your kitchen?
Well, okay, I was prepared for that question. The first one is I have like the best spatula in the universe. It's an extremely flat spatula, probably from the 1940s or 50s, made mostly of aluminum, that allows me to get under an egg and flip it without any resistance, or a hamburger, whatever it is. I couldn't live without that. And
Wow.
the other one is my Magnolite pots. Magnolite is a brand that every kitchen in Louisiana uses that knows what it's doing.
Are those
And
aluminum? Are those aluminum?
well, I'm sure they have aluminum in them, but it's nothing like Magnolite. They're thick enough to heat evenly, and I use them for pot roast and chili and nearly everything I cook. And the third thing is a little odd thing that I have. I don't even know the name of it. I think it's kind of a vise, but it's a little triangular shaped device that you put underneath your cabinet that opens any jar or bottle that you ever have to open immediately. Like you put it in that vise and you twist it and it opens. And I don't know how anybody can live without that.
Wow.
And of course, other things like lemon squeezers and great knives. But those are the 3 top things: are the spatula, the magnolites, and that opener.
This is fabulous. And as it cooks down, the flavors are going to intensify.
Yeah, it's better the next day or the next day. And so I always make enough. The reason my recipe is larger is that I like to make enough to freeze a bunch of it.
Got it.
Nothing like heating up some chili on a cold day.
Well, we've got the hot days, and I just thought chili and hot days would be good.
Actually, hot days, chili on a hot day is Louisiana's secret to air conditioning. Because in hot climates, spicy food is the best way to cool off, and that's just a well-known fact in the South and in Mexico and other countries that are hot and spicy.
Growing up in all that humidity, okay, you moved to California. I mean, you have a PhD. You taught English at numerous colleges. You became you're the story merchant. You sell stories.
Yeah.
With the humidity that you grew up with, do you miss it? I know people who love the humidity.
I don't miss the humidity, but I miss the rain like crazy. And
we all do here.
Yeah. It rained nearly every day in Louisiana, and my favorite thing was to sit on the porch in a rocking chair and just listen to the rain, smell the rain, and get into the rain. And I'm going to Kansas City, where it rains a lot, in a couple of weeks, to my other side of my family, and hoping it rains in late June there, because we don't get here in Southern California, unfortunately.
Bring
It
some
looks
water
like it's going
back.
to rain about half the time, but it never rains because this
No.
city just does not know how to rain.
You know, it's. Do you remember watching Sky King, the TV show on
Sure.
Saturday mornings?
Yeah,
So I
I do.
remember one episode of Sky King where there was a drought, and he did something to seed the clouds and make it rain because he went up in his plane, right? Why can't we do
Exactly.
that? Why can't we do that?
What?
Why can't we seed the clouds that'll come in tomorrow morning and make it rain and end the drought? It's a
I
technical
wish I
question.
knew
I
the
don't know.
answer to that. But I don't know either. I don't know the answer to that, and that's not my job.
No, it's not my job either. Let's talk about your job a little bit, and then I'm going to taste this one more time before we end up. Your job is the story merchant. You sell stories.
Yeah, I sell stories. I develop stories. I find stories, and then we sell them, and hopefully we sell them as books and then as films or television. And I've been doing that it's my second career. I've been doing it about 35 years at this point.
How long did you
And
teach? And do you miss it? How long did you teach?
I taught for nearly 20 years, and I don't really miss most of it. I miss the student. I miss the subject matters. I taught great literature. I was in comparative literature, and I taught Latin and Greek and Renaissance Italian and also American literature. But I don't miss the academic world. It just was too restrictive to me, and I much prefer the crazy world of, the commercial world of stories, where people fight to get stories. They pay a lot of money for get stories. They fight to get them made into movies. It's a jungle, it's a real jungle because nothing is more important in human nature than stories. I mean, someone once said, the universe is not made of atoms, it's made of stories. And that's certainly true of our human universe.
Well,
In the very first.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I consider myself a storyteller. In fact, I believe that's the title I've given myself years ago on LinkedIn, because I tell stories. I help people tell stories, which is what you do. Okay. At different levels with films and books. I'm going to take another taste of the chili. Hold on. Oh, Carol, you're going to love this. It really is good. You know what I want to do before I taste it, while it's cooling, I'm going to stir it one last time. One of the things that we do, Ken, is that I do the cooking, and I'm very grateful that Carol does not mind doing the cleanup. And I may have toasted this pan a little bit more than I had hoped. Okay, I'm going to taste this one more time. Here we go. There it is. It's really good. I can tell that when it reduces a little bit more, there's that little flash of heat. This is really good, Ken. Forget the storytelling. Open up Ken's chili parlor. What do you think?
What?
I said, forget the storytelling. Open up Ken's chili parlor.
Yeah, no, I've always thought about opening up a Cajun Lebanese restaurant, and I could definitely do it because I have gumbo parties where everybody in town comes over and loves my gumbo, but I wish I could make them chili and, pork roast and all that stuff, crawfish etouffee, chicken etouffee, shrimp creole, all that stuff.
My
my
mother.
I could write
I think your next book should be only recipes. After the one about your mom. Okay.
Well, I definitely am including recipes in all my personal books for sure. Partly because I want my kids to get the recipes right, because I got so many wild recipes from my family that were not accurate. That led me to ride my bicycle at 5 in the morning on Sundays to my grandmother's house to watch her make things because I didn't trust any of my aunts or mother to get her recipe. My mother would always say, "This is how your grandmother does it, so don't argue." And I go, "It is not like hers doesn't taste like this." So I finally went there for 2 or 3 years, and I make the best duplicates of her recipes of anybody in the family, and that's what I put in my books.
Did did your was your father an eater or a cooker or both?
He he cooked one thing, and that was shish kebab, or we called it laha mishwe, was the Lebanese name for it. And he was set out in life to be a butcher like his brothers. Four of his brothers were grocers. His father was too, but he ended up being an accountant. But he never forgot how to make shish kebab. So he would always buy a leg of lamb, trim it himself, cut it himself. We would all put it on skewers, and then he barbecued it, and that was superb. He did that about once a year. That was his contribution to cooking.
Got it.
Other than making Dagwood sandwiches at midnight,
Ooh,
which he loved to do, and they were the best sandwiches ever, with weird ingredients like Limburger cheese. If you ever heard of that,
oh sure.
it's like Roquefort cheese on steroids,
Yes.
and he would put a piece of that on his sandwich, and when I had nightmares, he would wake me up and bring me down to the kitchen and make one of those sandwiches for me, and it knocked me out for sure.
Wow. That's terrific. Um, with all the things that I do, I hope I'm remembered as a good dad. Is that something that you would like to be remembered as?
As what? Cooking?
As a good dad? Do you want to be remembered as a good dad? Forget the storytelling.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I mean, when I used to teach Homer, and in the Iliad, there's a prayer that Hector, the hero of Troy, who Achilles fought against, he gives a prayer. He's holding his young son Astyanax, and he prays to Zeus that may my son be a better man than I am. And I always thought that was the perfect father's prayer, and to take pride in his son. And I'm very happy to say that I believe my son has become a better man than I am, and my daughter a better woman than I could ever be. And so, yeah, I think that's one of the great things in life is to be a father. When you think about it, the one thing nobody tells you how to do is to be a father.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
you have to.
Yeah.
You don't get a manual. You don't get an instruction book. You don't even get a true or false quiz. You just have to figure it out for yourself. And I just came up with the idea that the only two important things were to be supportive and to be loving. And I tried to apply that probably erratically over my kids growing up, but we're very close today, so I hope some of it rubbed off. And I'm very blessed to have two wonderful children and 6 wonderful grandchildren.
Wow, 6. You've outpaced me. Ken, we're out of time. I really appreciate your sitting with us. I hope you had fun, and I'd love to have you come back with this book. And I know you've got another book. Maybe we can do something with that Italian book and going to Italy and getting away from it's all about food.
You should invite my client, James Pierre, who wrote that book, to be
Absolutely.
on your show and talk about what made him write. He's a black guy living in Brooklyn, and he wrote a great book about the Gambino family. And asking him why he did that is a real story.
Yeah, no, it's done. We'll set it up. Ken, I want you to hold on. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Mark.
I got to eat
Enjoy
this,
the
folks. Did you have a good time? I hope. A little technical issue, but you know, guys, you got to try the recipe. I'll have it posted tomorrow morning on YouTube / Mark Alyn Cooks Your Dinner. We'll have Ken's recipe up there. There'll be a link to well, you can just go to Amazon for the book. Lots of recipes in there, both Lebanese and little hot there, Lebanese and Cajun. And we'll have Ken come back. Maybe we'll ask him if he'd do something Cajun for us. There's the book.
Good, loved it.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. Good.
Everybody, take care.
Take
care of yourself.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I will.
Thanks, Carol. Bye-bye.
And Carol says
Bye-bye.
bye, Ken. Hey, thank you all for watching. We look forward to seeing you again next week when we do lamb chops for Father's Day from Prairie Street Prime. I'm Mark Alyn. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye for now.